Uh-oh. You clicked on this? Well, you must be feeling it too, huh? The want to create but no motivation, no creative juice left. You're not alone. I'm right there now too. And a lot of artists have had one heck of a year, or 4, depending where you're from. And I, for one, have been incredibly uninspired. All of my inspiration for my webcomic came from going to kung fu classes, of which there are none now, except for Zoom, which does not count in my opinion. I've been wanting to draw comics and write stories again, though. Not my Wing Chun comic, but just in general. I haven't gotten to make stories in a while, and it's really hard to get the motivation to do so, because comics are a long journey. I don't know how many of you work on the comics, but if you're feeling like you want to try it, stick around and let's chat, because I have some ideas of how I'm going to get out of this burnout, and maybe it'll help you guys too. One of the biggest things I think that can be problematic for creators is just an empty well of creativity. And I think this comes from just creating and creating and creating, but never enjoying art. You feel kind of guilty when you take time to enjoy your manga or your anime. Like, why are you doing this? You should be working on your comic. Go finish your animation, you know? And there's this little inner voice, which for me, I always feel like it's my audience telling it to me, but it's just a nasty little voice in my head. It tells us there's no reason you shouldn't be doing work. You're in quarantine all day. You have all the time in the world to make art. You're just lazy, it says. You don't care enough about your art to push through this burnout. It feels a little bit like a bout of depression, this kind of burnout. And you know you have the time to create, but you can't be bothered. But it's not your fault. You're exhausted from the stresses of last year, and if you've been creative, your creative well is empty. You've probably been giving more than you receive. I think it's very important for us to consume and enjoy art, not just pour it out of our souls without refilling it. So what I'm gonna do is watch a lot of anime. As an adult, I don't have a lot of time to watch anime. I got a job, I got bills to pay, I got to cook my own dinner and buy my own groceries. So I'm gonna at least try to watch a new episode of anime every day. I want to expose myself to new media, not my old comfort shows. So no rewatching like Oron Host Club or La Corda d'Oro. I need to watch some new things, because if I watch my old things, I'm gonna zone out. I'm gonna be on my phone. Like, am I the only one who tends to have like the TV on, a laptop on, and the phone in hand? It's really bad, and it gets really, really bad when I'm burnt out. So I think it's really important for us to focus and just immerse ourselves in this new content that we want to enjoy, because then you can feel more like you're part of the story, you're part of the dialogue, you're part of that world. And when I feel immersed in this new show, my imagination instantly feels refreshed. I think when you give yourself the opportunity to just sit back and enjoy something, you're gonna notice things about the show that inspire you. Maybe it'll be some story mechanic that you want to try out, or a character design. Maybe you like the way the characters talk to one another, or you really like the art style, the colors. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by a show you like. That's how most shows get made. There's something somebody liked enough that they wanted to put their own spin on it, or take a character and use them to like in their own story, changed up a little bit, of course. But maybe you don't have this problem. Maybe your creativity is perfectly fine, but your burnout comes from routine. Maybe you've been so diligent and stuck on your schedule, which is really good. Props to you if you can keep a schedule in freaking Rona times. That's really commendable. But maybe you're feeling stuck in this kind of humdrum routine. As humans, we're very naturally curious. We like trying new things. So I think the best thing for you at this moment would be to try a new media. If you're a story writer, maybe you want to try knitting, or if you do watercolor, maybe you want to try sculpting, or if you're digital, try charcoal. For me, I often try making videos like this one when I get really bored. It does help me to just kind of loosen up and think of art and creativity in a slightly different way. I think it also helps me reflect a little bit more on why I'm feeling so burnt out. And that's something else that I really recommend if you're burnt out, is to reflect and think about why you're feeling so burnt out. Personally, I came up with a meditative art exercise that I find really useful, and maybe you want to give it a try. So what I do is I sketch, and I try to do like a fully polished sketch without erasing anything. In a way, it teaches me to accept that every line on the page was meant to be there. I can refine and darken things to make them clearer, but every single mark I make on that page is important. And I like to think that it symbolizes that everything is done, it's in the past, but you can still push forward and things will turn out okay. I usually don't even know what that drawing is going to be when I sit down and I start to do this exercise. A lot of times I'll have a loose idea, I'll listen to some music and get somewhat inspired, but it never turns out as I expect. It sort of gets a life of its own, and it becomes this thing, this piece of art that takes shape from the ether. I highly recommend giving it a try, or come up with another meditative art exercise of your own and really reflect on what it could mean to you and how it can help you heal and move forward. And for younger, more beginning artists, just know that these kinds of drawings you don't have to share with anybody. This is you, this is your raw emotion and your thoughts on page. You don't have to share that with anybody. You could kind of treat it like it's like a special diary entry. Burnout is really awful, and sometimes it feels like we're stuck in a tar pit, slowly sinking. But remember, you're not alone. Everyone's felt this kind of hopelessness, and somehow we all get out of it. Somehow we find our creative paths again. You might have a dry spell right now, but hopefully these ideas can get your creative well full again, and you'll be riding the art motivation waves. I really hope this video helped you guys, or at least inspired you, and maybe you could give these methods a try and let me know what you think. Let me know if it helped. If you have anything that you do specifically to help yourself get out of art burnout, something that's worked like a charm for you in the past, please do share in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, I would love to know that. So please give a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'm actually thinking about getting more into the art community. I've just been admiring from the sidelines for so long, and I think that maybe even a seasoned hobbyist like me has some advice to share. So if there's anything you want me to teach you, or anything you want to hear me talk about, we can start a discussion. Let me know. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.